Hello, and welcome back to What Steven Reads. My name is Steven. That was Teddy. He's just getting cozy behind me. So, I've always wanted to read a big, fat book. A book like 1,000 pages or more. Mostly as a challenge to be able to say I read a big book. And I think that the author must really be trying to say something in one book as opposed to doing one book and then a sequel and then a third one and a whole entire series. And I just think it would be a fun challenge to read a big book, keep it at home obviously. I'm not going to be hauling this thing around with me wherever I go. And read a little bit each day or each week. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So I did some book shopping. So I had a couple of books already in my collection in the library. But I also did some book shopping. And I got some big giant books. I don't have a list. I don't know what books I'm interested in that happen to be that large, but I'm going to keep my eye out for big fat books, see what they are, and read the description, and if it's something that I would enjoy reading, then I will buy it. Otherwise, I'm not getting a book I'm not sure if I'm interested in. Alright, so let's go into Norrell and see what we can find. So what I want to do is take this stack of books. I'm going to read the first few chapters of each of them and decide which one I'm going to continue with. And then we'll get to the other ones after that. So here are the books. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 of them I already owned. I bought within the last year. And this one's covered because you can't really hide it that much. And it's IQ 84. And I heard good things about this book. I'm a fan of 1984. And then only recently, I didn't even open it yet, I heard that it's not so great. You know, you listen to different opinions, but I do have it in my possession. And I'm going to, like I said, read a couple of chapters and see if I'm interested in it. I don't know how different it is from 1984. It's a take on the classic. By the way, the author is Haruki Murakami, and this set is broken into 3 books actually, so I could potentially take this out with me to the coffee shop or to work, or even read it in bed, because I don't think I can read these in bed. That'll be a little bit difficult. But it is one book. I don't know why they broke it up. I think it's a great idea that they did that. If you know differently, and this is actually a 3-book series, please let me know, but that is not how I understand it. So IQ 84 by Haruki Murakami. So that's one choice. Then the other book I bought because I was looking for like a Western, something a bit frontier-like, and I got Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. I always say his last name wrong. And let's just take a quick little look at the synopsis. Hopefully it is back here. A love story, an adventure, and an epic story of the frontier. That's exactly what I was interested in when I bought this last year. Larry McMurtry's, I did say it wrong before. I said McMurtry. It's McMurtry. Pulitzer Prize winning classic Lonesome Dove, the 3rd book in the Lonesome Dove tetralogy, is the grandest novel ever written about the last defiant wilderness of America. journey to the dusty little Texas town of Lonesome Dove and meet an unforgettable assortment of heroes and outlaws, ladies, Indians, and settlers. Richly authentic, beautifully written, always dramatic, Lonesome Dove is a book to make us laugh, weep, dream, and remember. So, yeah, I did know that this is part of a series, but I also heard that this is the best one in the series, which is why it's become pretty much like a modern classic, if you will. It's from the 80s, I believe. So that's choice number 2. And no, I'm not going to read the other ones, because no one talks about them, so there must be a reason why. Stephen King's The Stand. And this is a post-apocalyptic story, which, hugely popular. And it's funny because I was in the bookstore, and there was this guy standing right in front of it, and he grabbed it, and then he put it back, but he was like looking at it, and I said to him, I was like, no, if you're getting it, no, I know, I grabbed it, and I said, listen, if you want this book, just let me know, I have plenty to read. And he was like, no, that's fine. I said, if you want it, catch me within the next 2 minutes. I'm gonna get online soon if you decide you want it, because I could always just order it online. I really didn't care. Oh, so could he. So Stephen King's The Stand, and this is a post-apocalyptic world. Let's see. A patient escapes from a biological testing facility unknowingly carrying a mutated strain of superflu that wipes out 99% of the world's population within a few weeks. Those who remain are scared, bewildered, and in need of a leader. To emerge, Mother Abigail, a benevolent 108-year-old woman who urges the building of a peaceful community in Boulder, Colorado, and Randall Flagg, the nefarious dark man who delights in chaos and violence. As the two leaders gather power, the survivors must choose between them and ultimately decide the fate of humanity. Now, I've never read a Stephen King book before. I have a couple of horrors that I want to get to in October, and I heard that he does go on and on with his words. But I don't know, and I've heard there's like characters and little snippets in here of storyline that don't connect to anything else, which that new book came out, by the way, where authors take something from The Stand and elaborate on it or create a new story within this world. So that's kind of cool. If he planned this back when he wrote it, that'd be interesting. So that's book number 3, The Stand by Stephen King. Then I picked up Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. And I have not read Piranesi yet, but heard it is fantastic, and I heard this is amazing. And I did not know that this book was this thick. I mean, look at this thing. It's freaking huge. So this, I heard, is about a world with magic, and it's starting to disappear in the world. And there's 2 magicians that still have power, and there's some sort of war between them. Let's see. In the midst of the Napoleonic Wars in 1806, most people believe magic to have long since disappeared from England, until the reclusive Mr. Norrell reveals his powers and becomes an overnight celebrity. Another practicing magician then emerges, the young and daring Jonathan Strange. He becomes Norrell's pupil, and the 2 join forces in the war against France. And I won't get into any more of the description in the back to give too much away. But this was on my radar to read, and it's fantasy, and nothing else here is fantasy. And IQ84, I think, is more science fiction. So let's see. All right. And then this, never heard of it, Paul Auster's 4321. And I had read the back in the bookstore, and it's basically 3 parallel stories of one man. He's born, and it takes 3 different paths. It's not a multiverse story. It's just telling the story of this boy that grows up and the kind of life he has in 3 different possibilities. Whether or not they link together in the end, I don't think that's what this is about. I don't think this is speculative fiction or anything else like that. But it just sounded really good. And, one life he's well-to-do, another life he's not well-to-do, and there's the third one. So this just sounded really cool. Again, never heard of it, and never heard of Paul Auster either. This is shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize. So that's cool. So maybe I will pick this one for the final read. But I think so one more. Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. This was a late edition. I saw it in the bookstore, as you saw, and I was like, no, I don't think this is going to interest me. Then my father brought up this book the other night at dinner. referring to how things are in the world. And I was like, oh, it's always been like that. It's been going on forever. Blah, blah, blah. And I actually bought this for him. So I am going to give this to him on Sunday as a gift. If he's not interested in it, I will definitely make this a contender for which book I'm going to pick. Oh, it's dirty. This one came from Amazon. I feel like everything from Amazon gets damaged. But how am I not going to damage any of these books? I'm going to return it. So that's that. And Les Miserables, basically about, it's more political in how the financially elite contrasts with the poor. You know, you've all heard of the play, which obviously is more famous than the book, because I think more people have heard of the play in the movie with Emily. And yeah, so we'll check this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a couple of chapters from each of these books and see which one grabs me first. And I'll be honest, the one that well, let's just see. We have all these books out, and then we have IQ 84. Let's see, can they all fit here? Yeah, they're all there. I think my first pick, if I really thought about it, is going to be between Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell and this book 4321, which I've never heard of. It just sounds really interesting, more contemporary, literary, and that's what I'm excited about. But who knows? I have to read a couple of chapters. You know, like right now, I'm reading Rebecca, and the first chapter was just amazing. It drew me in. I'm really enjoying that book. So, and then IQ 84. You know, this is a contender, but you know, we'll see. I just like literally the other day, I was watching a couple of videos, and they were like, yeah, it's okay. But listen, lots of people have read it. It's famous. So yeah, I don't know. And then, so there'll be a part 2 of this video once I get through the first couple of chapters of all these books. And that's it for today. But I want to know what book you think I should read first, because I do want to get to all of these. I don't know how many months this will take, or years, or whatever. But what book do you think I should pick first? What have you read? Which one do you recommend? Which one do you think is going to grab me right away? And I don't want to hear that thing, oh, you'll get really into it halfway into the book. No, I want to get into the book, be interested within the first few chapters. I think that's how it should be. You shouldn't have to read like 50% of a book to get interested in it. But I definitely want to know what you think. All right, that's it for today. Please like and subscribe and leave those comments. I greatly appreciate that. And catch you next time. Bye-bye.